Were you a millennial who was addicted to teen movies like I was? What about parody movies? Did you like them as much as I did as well? Well, I have a question to ask you. Do you remember the 2001 film Not Another Teen Movie? Because we have to talk about that. Hello to all my teen movie lovers out there. My name is EJ and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are journeying all the way back to the beginning of the millennium. We are at 2001, the teen movie phase is just unwinding, and the parody movie rise is coming up. Now, we have to talk about Not Another Teen Movie. So I want to talk about the history of teen movies real quick, especially the ones leading up to this point. We've had teen movies forever. I mean, we had the 50s had a lot of those beach party movies. The 60s got a lot of more interpersonal drama, a lot more scandalous with their teen films. The 70s and the 80s, my goodness, the 80s had the rise of John Hughes, The Goonies, even Stephen King adaptations were very youth-led at this time. I mean, look at Carrie, look at Stand By Me. So again, this was a time where teens were getting the most amount of content delivered to them, which was refreshing. From TV to movies, teen stuff was very popular. And then we get to like the mid to late 90s, and the teen movies come right back in with force. I mean, We Have Never Been Kissed, She's All That, Cruel Intentions, so many of them, Clueless. I mean, there's so many of these movies that were just dropping, that was made for the youth of this time, that was made for millennials or the Gen Xers. And I love that these movies existed. It captures teen life. It gave us a high fantasy of some of the crazier situations, but overall, they were fun, easy to watch movies. Have all of them aged well? No, I have a ranking on my channel where I talk about some of them. Like, my goodness, I try to watch Can't Hardly Wait, and they use the F gay slur a lot in that movie. And I'm not saying it because, boy, y'all were demonetizing me like crazy on YouTube recently. But overall, like, these movies haven't aged well. They weren't like perfect encapsulations of teen life. There were a lot of like, white-led cast, a lot of, maybe not the easiest situations from really privileged people. It's hard to relate to some of these movies. So then you get to 2001 with Not Another Teen Movie, and they said, wow, we're going to make fun of all the privilege, the lack of black characters, the light homophobia that was there. All of this is going to get made fun of and put into a stew. And goodness, do I love Not Another Teen Movie. It just captured so much of what I loved at this time. Again, I love teen movies, but to find a movie that makes fun of them correctly, it was hard to find at this time. The same thing with, horror parodies. There has been tons of them before Scary Movie, but Scary Movie felt like the first one that did things endearingly. It did it with love in its heart of the genre and of the people it's making fun of. Do I think Scary Movie has a bit more like homophobic jokes than I think Not Another Teen Movie does? Surprisingly, yes. I thought Not Another Teen Movie would be super problematic, super aged, and we'll talk about if it aged well at the end of this video. But overall, I'm surprised that rewatching this video, I had a damn good time. Now let's get into the plot of this movie. What happens? What characters do we meet? And my goodness, how beautiful is Chris Evans in this movie? So what happens in Not Another Teen Movie? We follow Janie Briggs, who is trying to figure out her life. She is artistic. She wears paint-covered overalls. She has glasses and a ponytail. Some may think she's a lesbian, but truly she's just waiting for her fake Freddie Prinze Jr. to come into her life. Well, that's what happens when Jake Wheeler comes and gets placed with a bet to change her life. Jake Wheeler is the star quarterback of the football team, but he doesn't want that kind of life no more. He wants his own life, and he wants to date the nerdy girl after getting placed into a bet to date her and fix her up and make her over, uses his sister that's in love with him as well, to do it. My goodness, there's a lot going on here. The Jake Wheeler character in general is just a lot to handle. From the football stuff he has to deal with, which is very Varsity Blues, though, when they splice that man in half, walk it off, Marty. This movie, I think, has the best off-screen like ADR punch-ups that are just amazing, like the walk it off Marty joke. Like, all of those really hit me hard. But the Jake character is interesting because Chris Evans could have played him so boringly like the lead characters in all these movies. Like, I love what Heath Ledger and 10 Things I Hate About You are, Freddie Prinze Jr. and She's All That. They're great, but they're pretty bland, pretty boys that are nice, that are just here to help you out and make our lead female even better than it was before. Jake's character is interesting because he has a lot going on with him. He is a bit more, James Vanderbeek from Varsity Blues. It's hard being a man at this time. It's all the pressures. Girl, calm it down, this movie, and movies around men at this time. But Not Another Teen Movie makes fun of that pretty well and gives Chris Evans, I think, his best comedic role of all time. He is great. But then on the other times, we have Janie Briggs, played by, if you guys know her, she's Little Grey on Grey's Anatomy. I love her. I always thought this was Rachel Lee Cook, and I'm like, no, Rachel Lee Cook's in the real versions. So yeah, I love the Janie Briggs character. She's going through it too. She's just trying to figure out her life. Her mother has passed away. Her father is Randy Quaid. That would cause me to go crazy if my father was also Randy Quaid. My father is a lot like Randy Quaid in real life, so who knows, maybe I am going through my own Janie Briggs life. So yeah, Janie is trying to figure out what to do with all this makeover stuff, all this stuff happening. You know, she has Jamie Presley's character, this beautiful blonde woman who she's like competition with Jake. You know, all of this is happening. She finds out about the bet. It's very much the same plots that you know from all of the other movies. And then we have Catherine Wheeler, who is... oh my goodness, she played Jenny on L Word. She was in so many other things. I love this character. She's making fun of Sarah Michelle Gellar from Cruel Intentions. She's in love with not her stepbrother, her actual brother in this movie. And I mean, the jokes that she has when she like walks on that one bigger guy and he squeaks, and then she does the, you know, when I tell them to put it wherever they want, the jokes.
Hi, Jake.
Catherine?
I mean, the kiss that she has with the older lady, which is the, like, Cruel Intentions, Never Been Kissed mix as well. This movie is just jam-packed with so many fun details, so many fun little moments. I mean, I love that the token character runs into Sean Patrick Thomas? Is that what's his name? My goodness, I haven't thought about you in so long. He runs up to him at the party, and they're like, "Ooh, there can't be two black people here. That's too many people in a teen movie. Too many people of color." You know, well, we had Little Kim in one movie, we had Gabrielle Union in one, we had That's About It. Sean Patrick Thomas was in one. He's also in Save the Last Dance, which comes out around the same year as well. Oh, Save the Last Dance. Another movie I love that's vaguely teen movie-ish, teen adjacent. Yes, my goodness, this movie just brings me back because I'm thinking of all these characters. I'm thinking of all the things that they're making fun of and how refreshing this felt at the time.
Janie Briggs got a gun.
He's got a gun! Janie's got a gun!
What?
Then, sadly, after this movie, every movie became a teen movie, you know, a parody movie of things. We had, you know, date movie, superhero movie, all those kind of stuff. The Scary Movie franchise went downhill, but it really feels like Not Another Teen Movie captured this time period perfectly. It just made us all feel like, wow, I remember these movies and let's make fun of them. Let's talk about how ridiculous these plots are. It all worked so well for me, and that's why I absolutely love Not Another Teen Movie, the wackiness it calls. And again, Chris Evans is eating this movie up. I just saw him in Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm like, you're great there, but you're even funnier when you are with, you know, whipped cream and cherries and that banana in your butt. My goodness. Oh, I love you, Chris Evans. I love you so much.
Who's that?
It's my mother.
You have her eyes.
Now, the question I had going into this movie, and in general, has it aged well? Surprisingly, I think this movie looks great, sounds great, feels great. This movie is 2001, painfully 2001. I mean, it makes fun of people. It's definitely not politically correct. It's not going to, like, I do think, like, Gen Z, Gen Alpha would see this movie and go, oh, they're making fun of albino people or they're conjoined people. You know, I feel like there would be little nitpicks here or there. But overall, I found this movie pretty unproblematic. I was surprised. I mean, the jokes that they're making fun of, they are also making fun of movies that I think are problematic. Again, like, without having many people of color, with some of the gay jokes, with some of the treatment of women. It's making fun of that. So it's allowing that, but it's not punching down. This movie does the great thing a parody movie does, and it's punching up. It wants to make fun of everyone. It wants to make fun of everyone equally, but it's also not trying to punch down at disabled folk, or it's not trying to punch down at gay folk or trans folk or anything like that, or people of color. It's not making them feel less than. It's just saying, isn't it crazy how we were treated in these teen movies? And I think that's smart. I think that's refreshing. Because again, 80s movies I think, are the worst aged out of all of the teen movies. The 90s has its problems. We definitely used words that we won't use nowadays. But the 80s ones, it just feels so much more ickier. There's more brown, black, and yellow face. If you watch some of those movies, there's way more gay jokes. There's way more just an icky feeling. Where I think the 90s, we were, you know, a little bit more friendly. Like, Bring It On, they use the F slur in that movie, but it feels like it's lovingly used it there. Oh my goodness, the Bring It On parodies in this movie, maybe that is the most problematic part. Jaime Pressly saying the N-word probably is the most scandalous moment, but again, it's used for the joke. I understood what they were doing. I don't think she used it for real. It's also just a cheer. Goodness. So again, there is problematic stuff here. There is stuff that probably people nowadays would be like, oh my goodness. But watching it then, and even watching it now, I felt like it was so easy. I'm usually one that's a bit more sensitive to stuff nowadays. I try to watch 50s movies, or trying to watch movies from the 30s, or even the 80s and 90s sometimes. I'm like, yikes, jinkies, this did not age well. But this movie, surprisingly, it's like lovingly making fun of everyone. It's lovingly making fun of the teen movie genre, and it's making sure everyone's on an equal playing field here. And that's exactly what I want from my parody movies. Well, this was my quick little video for the week. My AC is broken, so it is hot. I am sweating. I am sorry that it's been delayed if you're a regular watcher. But my goodness, AC is not working. I'm recording this video on a Sunday before the sun comes up, so I can get this stuff done. But thank you all for watching. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my exploration onto teen movies and my favorite parody of all time, Not Another Teen Movie. What did you guys think of this video? What do you guys think of this movie? When's the last time you watched Not Another Teen Movie? Watch it. It's on Netflix right now. It is so worth it. It's just classic parody, classic great comedy from the early 2000s, which again, we'll never get back to this time. It made me nostalgic. It made me feel things. I had a great time. I watched this movie in the theaters with my mom, where she had to hide my eyes in the beginning because I was like 11 when this came out. My goodness, it just brought me back. Such a good time. Tell me your memories of seeing Not Another Teen Movie. What is your favorite parody movie? Share all your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Now let's talk about Not Another Teen Movie right down there.